We've been to the moon. We've sent probes beyond the solar system. But here's the crazy part. When it comes to exploring our own planet, we've barely scratched the surface. In fact, if Earth were an apple, humanity hasn't even peeled the skin. So how far have we actually dug into our own world? Welcome back to The Fact Frenzy, where curiosity meets reality. And what terrifying and downright weird things have we discovered along the way? Let's dig in. Literally, the biggest hole ever made. The deepest hole humans have ever made isn't in the US or China or even a mining site. It's hidden in the frozen tundra of Russia's Kola Peninsula. It's called the Kola Superdeep Borehole, and it's the result of a Cold War-era science race that most people have never heard of. Starting in 1970, Soviet scientists began drilling straight into the Earth's crust. Not for oil, not for minerals, but for pure knowledge. For 24 years, the drill kept going down, and down, and down, until finally, in 1989, they hit a record-breaking depth of 12,262 meters. That's 12 kilometers, or about 40,000 feet deep. To put that in perspective, if you dropped Mount Everest into the hole, its peak would still be over a kilometer below the surface. What they found down there. But here's where it gets wild. As they drilled deeper, the scientists started finding things that shouldn't have been there. They discovered fossilized microscopic plankton, tiny life forms, trapped inside rocks that were 2 billion years old. That's right, life once existed in rock layers so deep, sunlight could never reach them. Then came the next shocker, the heat. By 12 kilometers down, the temperature had climbed to nearly 180 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt lead. The rocks were literally flowing like plastic, making it impossible to drill further. In the end, the Earth itself stopped us. Other attempts around the world. But the Kola hole wasn't the only attempt to pierce the planet's crust. The United States launched its own project in the 1960s, called Project Mohole, named after the Mohorovičić discontinuity, or MOHO, the boundary between Earth's crust and mantle. The plan? Drill through the ocean floor, where the crust is thinner, to actually reach the mantle. They managed to dig about 180 meters into the seafloor before the project ran out of funding and got scrapped. Since then, other nations, including Japan and Germany, have tried similar deep-sea drilling projects, but none have broken the Kola record. So, despite our technology, we haven't even come close to reaching Earth's mantle. What lies beneath? Let's put things in perspective. Earth's crust, the layer we live on, averages about 35 kilometers thick on land and 5 to 10 kilometers under the oceans. Below that lies the mantle, stretching down almost 3,000 kilometers, and then the core, the blazing hot heart of our planet, hotter than the surface of the sun. So, if the Kola borehole only went 12 kilometers deep, we've reached just 0.3% of the way to Earth's center. That's like digging halfway through a postage stamp if Earth were the size of a basketball. Mind-blowing, right? The modern quest. But here's the exciting part. The quest isn't over. Modern drilling ships like Japan's Chikyu are pushing deeper than ever beneath the seafloor. Their goal? To finally touch the mantle, the mysterious layer that drives volcanoes, earthquakes, and plate tectonics. Why does it matter? Because by studying those rocks, scientists could unlock the story of how Earth formed, how continents move, and maybe even how life began. So, after decades of drilling, billions in funding, and the best technology we have, we've barely scratched the crust. The deepest hole ever made goes just 1/3 of the way through the crust, and not even 1% toward the core. It's humbling, isn't it? We can send machines to the edge of the solar system, but when it comes to what's right beneath our feet, we're still almost completely in the dark. So maybe the real question isn't how far we've dug, but what secrets the Earth is still hiding from us, just a few kilometers below. Drop it in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next unbelievable fact about our wild, wonderful planet. See you in the next video.